continue. Let's welcome Eduardo Mayorga. Vamos a continuar. Damos la bienvenida a Eduardo Mayorga. Eduardo Mayorga hola Eduardo, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, Caro, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, bienvenido. Estoy aquí haciendo tu presentación. Bueno, Eduardo Mayorga es uno de los líderes de la industria en Colombia. Eduardo es el fundador y CEO de la compañía Green Health Colombia, compañía que Eduardo logró vender exitosamente hace algunos años y ahora es subsidiaria de la compañía Cannaverde Pharma con sede en Canadá. Eduardo tiene más de 19 años de experiencia en gerencia estratégica, planeación y desarrollo de proyectos a lo largo de Colombia y en la región, incluyendo proyectos relacionados con el Free Trade Zone en Bogotá, el CCND del Dorado, del aeropuerto del Dorado. Eduardo también ha trabajado en la industria de petrolera por muchos años y trae toda esta experiencia a la industria canábica, especialmente en el sector farmacéutico a nivel medicinal, ya que en Colombia pues se legalizó primeramente el cannabis medicinal en nuestro país. Eduardo, cuéntanos cómo ha sido tu experiencia en Santander. Eduardo nos trae hoy una presentación muy interesante acerca del clúster medicinal que bajo el liderazgo de Eduardo y bajo la dirección de Green Health Colombia se ha logrado. Bienvenido, Eduardo. Es un placer tenerte con nosotros y aprender de tu gran experiencia.
Carol, muchas gracias por la invitación a este evento, gracias a Muisca Capital Group. Yo quisiera antes de empezar mencionar que se acaba de firmar el decreto, el presidente acaba de firmar el decreto y hay 3 puntos muy interesantes. El primero es que se permite la exportación de flor seca, lo cual abre unas grandes posibilidades para el país y para la industria. Permite el ingreso de la flor seca a Zona Franca para procesamiento.
Entrance of the flower to Zona Franca to free trade zone for processing and repackaging, and opens legislation for the whole topic as industry for food and beverages, something we had been expecting for several months. Also, it would allow master formulas to be distributed through drugstores. This is a good eye-opener for this event based on this decree that has just been signed by the president, which strengthens the cannabis industry. We in Santander are the company that Carol mentioned as Green Colombia. We have 7 hectares licensed, and we have license for cultivation and extraction of psychoactive and non-psychoactive cannabis derivatives. We're registered with the Colombian Food and Drug Administration, the ICA. We have 17 varieties duly registered and in production. Our dream has been to integrate the value chain of medicinal cannabis within the cluster of healthcare in the northeastern Colombian department of Santander, which is what we have been doing in recent months, working together with ProColombia and Andy and with the Chamber of Commerce here in this northeastern area of Colombia. What experience has, one question, Carol, is the presentation being shown? I don't see it on the screen. No, I don't see it either. You need to share screen and click in the part of the computer that you want to share. Would you like to try that? How do I share my screen? Well, while Eduardo can get his presentation on the screen. It's now on the screen, Eduardo. We can see it. If you use the presentation mode, we can see it a little larger. That's great. Thank you very much. I was navigating blind. Okay, here we see Green Health Colombia, the company I am in charge of right now, and Medical Precision Care, which is Master Formulas, and Nova Science is developing cosmetic and veterinary products. So it's Green Health, Medical Precision Care, and Nova Science. Our philosophy has always been working with high quality standards, looking to add value to everything we do, always thinking of social responsibility and, of course, return, providing a return to our investors. As of today, we have 7 hectares licensed at Mesa de los Santos. We have 2,000 square meters for greenhouses, 5,000 square meters for production, 10,000 square meters for outdoor cultivation, and 17 registered seeds, and we're conducting extraction processes. Here, I would like to reflect on what has happened in Colombia with the cannabis companies in the last 5 years. Basically, if we see in this graph in 2017, there was great expectation given the market potential represented by medicinal cannabis. Sadly, in 2018, in the next slide, we will see the reasons for this. Most of the companies, at least the ones that quote were listed in the stock exchange, lost about up to even 80% of their value. And today, my perception is that this market reached that limit, and now we're starting to peak again after we have seen how the sector has matured, as can be expected with respect to any new sector in the economy. What some of the causes we believed led to this delay was the delay in the implementation of the regulation. We have excellent regulations in Colombia for medicinal cannabis, but the implementation processes see delays when they seek to implement the regulation. The licensing process was very delayed. Here in Colombia, there are several institutions that participate: Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Health. There's the Colombian FDA, which is the ICA, and there's the INVIMA, and there is the Drugs and Narcotics Office, etc. The difficulties in terms of access to banks is a generalized problem in all countries today in Colombia. This has been overcome, but it was a difficult entry barrier during the initial years. There was a lack of knowledge, very large lack of knowledge regarding the complexity of agricultural developments. It's a 9-month process which cannot take shortcuts, and this implied at least 1 year of work. Some companies, in my opinion, have been overly designed in terms of infrastructure, and starting out with a heavy infrastructure is difficult for a new sector. The promises made to investors in 2017 sadly were not complied with, given the above reasons. The implementation time for a new sector did not make it possible for this to convert into short-term dividends. As of today, as mentioned initially, the decree we have been expecting for more than a year has just been signed and ratified. So now there's the possibility of exporting the dry flower and the possibility of developing other sectors such as food and beverages, and the issue of master formulas which can be registered in pharmacies, which opens a super important market, which will be able to reach all levels, at least in the national sphere. This is the behavior of licenses. There has been a spike in 2020, more than 404 cannabis, non-psychoactive cannabis licenses granted by the ministry, which is a reflection of the appetite there is and the hope that the country has regarding this new sector of the economy. What did investors look at in 2017? You may remember that I was asked how many licenses were approved. How number of hectares, the more hectares, more resources you can get, how many square feet of greenhouses, the electrical network, water resources, and if we had specialized foreign personnel specialized in cannabis. Now, as of today, this is past. Today, you required approved licenses, but you also need to have the Colombian FDA, the ICA records and genetics. And the question now is how many grams you can produce per square meter, how many plants per square meter, how many grams per plant, what certifications you have, how many dry flower kilograms per square meter, reasonable head count, certifications. You should have a reasonable head count, the structure and of the company, final products, which could be flour, but also extracts that can be distributed, you should have contracts for sales, and operating costs should be efficient and related to point number 6, and there should be cash flow. These are the investors' questions today, and this is what the companies that like us are looking for capital right now can and must need to offer to assure future investment. We, as a strategy in Cannaverde and Green Health, decided not to list in the stock exchange until our cash flow is adequate. This is fundamental, simply based on responsibility to investors. So right now, we will look for the right moment to become a listed company in the Canadian market. We want to have developed high added value products. We already have 2 products registered with the INVIMA, and we have purchased medical precision care, which will allow us to have INVIMA certified products, medical products. We're working on the GACP and GMP certifications now. We believe that a reasonable way to grow consists of starting at the regional level, reason for which our strength is in the northern eastern department of Santander in Colombia, with projections towards Latin America, and we've already made contacts abroad. But I think that this step by step of first crawling and then walking is necessary to guarantee the success of a company. Speaking of the integration of the cannabis cluster in Santander department, well, here Santander is a strong healthcare region. We have a Santander free trade zone for services and another free trade zone for healthcare services and products. And with them, we have been working closely to see how we can develop the sector. How can you integrate the value chain within the healthcare cluster? We believe there are 3 ways to do this: strategic alliances, investment in companies within the value chain, and strategic alliances and cooperation alliances with small and medium-sized enterprises. Here we see what we can do with these 3 companies with which we are currently working together. The issue of the flower, extracts, master formulas, and finished product, as mentioned, for both humans as well as for the veterinary sector. In the Santander Department of Colombia, we have been able to be recognized as sector leaders. We clearly believe that we need to share knowledge. Our project is visited on a daily basis by different entrepreneurs and service companies and companies selling products. And what we seek to do is to democratize the use of cannabis in Colombia to strengthen the sector. We work together with other companies that are equally licensed in or for cannabis, and we support each other in terms of transfer of knowledge, looking to strengthen the region. Speaking specifically of each of one of these companies, there are business units, which is the sale of cuttings. Not all companies have the agricultural valuation unit. This was created in 2018, so there's the possibility of supporting companies that lack this. And so we're selling our registered genetics. We have asexual reproduction, so we do this through cuttings. We have the capacity, installed capacity to produce 100 kilograms of dry flower. With the new decree allowing us to do exports, we plan to proceed with extracts. We are producing THC and CBD and CBG extracts. For THC, we depend on our quota, but we've already applied for the 2021 quota, and now we're going to provide the extraction services, extraction tolling service for cultivators that are not going to invest in laboratories. This is a business unit that is really interesting, which will allow us to grow within the group. We have already signed 3 future work agreements with duly certified companies here in Santander, and we've launched the brand of cosmetics de los Santos in honor of the area of Mesa de los Santos in the department of Santander, which is where we are located. And that is the municipality that opened its doors for our project. Medical Precision Care is a super interesting company. We have made an investment there. Medical Precision Care is the first master formula exclusively dedicated to medicinal cannabis registered with the Colombian FDA, the INVIMA. And we have developed products, pharmacological products, as well as raw materials, THC and CBD. And with the new regulation that was signed today, which will allow for the distribution of master formulas in drugstores, there is enormous potential. In the area of research and development, this company already has 4 products developed, which are the sublingual drops and patches with 3D technology, suppositories, and ovules. There's a variety of products that will provide physicians with the possibility of adding to their arsenal new tools for several pathologies, which we know can be helped by cannabis. Medical also has a software platform where patients and labs and doctors interact for proper formulations. This is a company with the full potential for development and growth at the local level, national, and we are now looking at legislation for the exports of master formulas to other countries. Nova Science is a company led by a chemical group which has been able to develop formulas mixing CBD with other natural products from the Amazon area. They have been able to launch 2 product lines, one line which is human care with drops and ointment or cream, and 2 veterinary lines. Speaking of veterinary lines, this is a market that moves millions and millions of dollars per year, and doctors, that veterinarians are hoping to have a tool such as CBD or a product such as CBD, which we know works well in humans and animals. Part of the work we have undertaken in Santander consists of being close to the medical area. We have established an agreement with the Saludar Clinic and IPS healthcare provider specialist in healthcare issues in the Santander Department of Colombia. With them, we've already undertaken training of the physicians and formulation of products prepared with the master formulas with raw materials produced at Mesa de los Santos by Green Health. So we have linked all the factors there to be able to reach patients finally. The other very important alliance we have established is with the Cardiovascular Foundation, one of the most important medical institutions in Colombia, also renowned internationally in terms of healthcare. This is an organization that has a specialized area in research and development, provides medical services at all levels in Colombia, and is one of the leaders in the export of healthcare from Santander. With them, we have signed an agreement which includes several pillars. One of the most interesting ones is clinical studies. As we know, medicinal cannabis, those of us who have been in the sector for many years know of its benefits, but we also understand the need to have scientific support to support cases. So with the Cardiovascular Foundation, we are working in observational studies and double-blind studies, where Green Health provides the raw materials. Medical Precision Care prepares master formulas, working together with the doctors for the corresponding studies. And the foundation follows up on patients, and we all share this knowledge, all this generation of new knowledge, academic and scientific, to and with this sector. We will work on the development of pharma level products seeking to develop patients in the Santander department. And a distribution line is being opened. I've lost the gentleman's sound. I cannot hear him. We've lost the gentleman. Within this project of integration of the value chain, yesterday, the company Novum Vitae received the license for cultivation. They have a license for cultivation, and in the Department of Santander, it's the first Colombian company that is able to integrate all licenses within the free trade zone system. It has an additional value, which is the fact that it includes the agricultural valuation unit. We've signed a collaboration agreement for development of knowledge and a commercial agreement with them for the internationalization of their products as part of the value chain. This is really, really representative. The free trade zone makes it possible to reduce tax benefits and customs benefits and security benefits as well, which will allow us to become stronger in Santander as a cannabis cluster focused on the international market. We have signed an agreement with JGB, a company located in the southern part of Colombia. It's one of the largest companies
productos
in
OTC,
terms of product development, over-the-counter products focused on the national and in the international markets. With them, we are going to develop, thanks to the structure we have, in a special extract of CBD as raw material for the development of products and distribution in other countries, national market and Latin American market. So as you can see, this exercise of this last 2 years has made it possible for us to integrate several important players in the value chain. We can now say that we control from the genetics right up to patients or end users being able to get data and generation of knowledge, which makes us into a cluster with a high development potential. We believe that together we can do this, and this has been our slogan as leaders in this process, to seek to interact with all these companies and develop the potential that each one of these companies has within the framework of the medicinal cannabis sector. To conclude, Cannaverde Pharma is a company that is currently raising funds. We have a $12 million Canadian dollars valuation or appraisal. The way we can offer investors an opportunity to participate is with a debenture at 2 years, and our valuation of shares is at $60 cents of a dollar. We want to integrate the experience of Cannaverde Pharma in the international market with the Colombian experience developing projects here, specifically in the northeastern region of Santander, to become an excellent investment option for the future. We are sure we're doing things in the best way possible to comply with social responsibility, with our quality standards, and in terms of producing a return for the investors. That is what I had for you today, Carol. Once again, thank you for this opportunity of sharing the experience of Green Health and Cannaverde Pharma in Santander, Colombia. Thank you very much, Eduardo. Your experience is very interesting in the trajectory of Green Health Colombia and Cannaverde Pharma. Very well. Congratulations. I know that the cannabis industry in Colombia has been waiting for almost 5 years already, since 2016. We have been hoping for the government to proceed to make more agile procedures so that we could internally distribute and export the flower. This is a very valuable experience and learning experience for the region. Notice how we have limited our exercise when the Colombian regulator legalized the distribution of the dry flower for the internal as well as the external markets. That delay hindered the ideal process in the industry in Colombia, but now with the green light issued, the opportunities are now really limitless. We have the largest market in the world, that of the US. Now we can reach there with any type of CBD, with biomass and flower. So this opens a gigantic door for the entire Latin American region. Colombia has been a pioneer in terms of regulation, without a doubt. One of the jurisdictions with more traction and more maturity, with almost all of the Latin American investment taking place mostly in Colombia. Given the maturity of its industry, it's important to highlight that this is an industry that has much diversity in terms of licenses. compared, for example, with Uruguay, which is another mature industry. We see that in Colombia there are more than 3,000 cultivation licenses and also extraction licenses, some granted, others in process. But we see how, and we can learn from all of these experiences in Colombia, in Mexico, and Ecuador, in the regions that are legalizing now and in the process of regulating the industry. Well, we can learn and we can see that in Colombia we produced an error which was not legalizing the dry flower from the outset, and we hope that this error is not committed in other regions. Another error we believe slowed down the process in Colombia and slowed down the potential efficiency internally and externally of the industry was the little regulation there was regarding the secondary activities. So the entire industry focused mainly on cultivation and extraction, and very few players saw any regulation regarding logistics and retails. From the outset, it's very important to think of retail. It's very difficult for conventional pharmacies to sell to the public a cannabis dry flower. So I think regulators need to look at this in detail, the whole issue of specialized clinics specialized in cannabis, the dispensaries specialized in cannabis, in order to provide more agility for the industry in the different regions, to provide it the opportunities that it entails. Thank you very much, Eduardo, once again.